China just announced a breakthrough in artificial intelligence that nobody saw coming. While Silicon Valley celebrated yet another chatbot update, Beijing unveiled something fundamentally different. An AI system that doesn't just process information, it rewrites the rules of who gets to hold power in the 21st century. The global AI race isn't about building better search engines or generating prettier images. It's about control, economic dominance, military superiority. And the uncomfortable truth is this: the country that masters artificial intelligence first doesn't just win a technological advantage. They reshape the entire world order. Right now, two superpowers are locked in a sprint toward that finish line. The United States built the foundation: transformers, neural networks. The entire architecture of modern AI came from American research labs. But China is moving differently. They're not trying to beat the West at its own game. They're changing the game entirely. In March of 2025, China's Academy of Sciences published a paper that sent shockwaves through Western intelligence agencies. They developed a new type of AI model that requires 90% less computing power than traditional large language models. Think about what that means. The entire AI arms race has been defined by one constraint: whoever has the most powerful chips wins. NVIDIA, the American company that makes those chips, became a $4 trillion behemoth because of this reality. Every AI lab on Earth is fighting for access to their hardware. China just made that irrelevant. Their breakthrough uses what they call distributed intelligence architecture. Instead of concentrating massive computational power in centralized data centers, the American approach, Chinese researchers found a way to spread AI processing across millions of smaller devices. Smartphones, security cameras, IoT sensors embedded in cities. Each device handles a tiny fraction of the workload, but together they form something unprecedented: a neural network that spans an entire nation's infrastructure. Western experts initially dismissed it as propaganda. Then the demonstrations started appearing: real-time translation across 50 languages with zero latency, predictive traffic management systems that reduced congestion in Shanghai by 73%, medical diagnosis AI that outperformed human doctors while running on hardware you could fit in your pocket. The implications are staggering. America's advantage in AI has always rested on three pillars: superior chip technology, massive tech companies with unlimited budgets, and access to vast amounts of data. China's new approach doesn't need cutting-edge chips. It doesn't require billion-dollar data centers, and it's designed specifically to work with the surveillance infrastructure China has been building for decades. You're probably wondering how the United States responded. That's where things get interesting. Washington didn't panic. They doubled down. In February, the Biden administration announced Project Athena, a $200 billion initiative to maintain American AI supremacy. The plan: create an AI system so powerful it would make China's distributed approach obsolete before it even scales. They're calling it Artificial General Intelligence, AGI, an AI that can truly think, reason, and solve problems across any domain like a human can. OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Anthropic are all racing toward this goal. Sam Altman claims we're 18 months away. Demis Hassabis says maybe 3 years. But here's what nobody's saying publicly: they might all be wrong about what matters. Because while America chases the dream of a super-intelligent AI that lives in a data center, China is embedding narrow AI into every aspect of society. Their approach isn't about creating a godlike intelligence. It's about creating a million specialized intelligences that collectively control everything from energy grids to financial systems to social behavior. Who wins that race? The country building one incredibly smart AI, or the country integrating millions of moderately smart AIs into the fabric of civilization itself? The answer might not be what you expect, and it's already reshaping global power in ways that won't show up in headlines for years. Consider what's happening in the developing world right now. China isn't just building AI systems, they're exporting them. 43 countries have signed agreements to implement Chinese AI infrastructure, not American systems, Chinese ones. From Pakistan's smart city projects to Kenya's AI-powered agricultural monitoring, Beijing is quietly establishing the operating system for the Global South's digital future. The United States built the internet, but China might be building whatever comes next. And there's a deeper layer to this story that changes everything. The entire AI race rests on an assumption that both countries share, that artificial intelligence will be the defining technology of this century. But what if they're fighting over yesterday's breakthrough while something else emerges? A handful of researchers, ignored by both superpowers, are working on quantum neural networks, AI systems that use quantum computing principles to process information in ways that make current AI look like a calculator compared to a supercomputer. The technology is still theoretical, still years away from practical application. But so was ChatGPT 5 years ago. The nation that masters quantum AI first won't just rewrite the rules of global power. They'll rewrite the rules of what's possible. And right now, neither China nor America is leading that race. The country that is might surprise you, and their approach to deploying it could determine whether AI becomes humanity's greatest tool or its final invention. That country is Canada, specifically the University of Waterloo's Institute for Quantum Computing and a small Montreal startup called Xanadu. While American and Chinese labs raced to build bigger data centers, these researchers solved a different problem: how to make AI learn without needing examples. Current AI systems require millions of labeled images to recognize a cat. Quantum neural networks can theoretically learn the concept from a single image by processing information in superposition, simultaneously exploring every possible pattern at once. The implications are staggering, but here's the twist nobody anticipated. Quantum AI doesn't just make existing AI faster, it breaks the entire paradigm. Classical AI learns by finding patterns in data. Quantum AI can discover patterns that don't exist yet, predicting emergent behaviors before they happen. Weather systems, financial markets, social movements all become readable in ways that make today's predictive models look like fortune cookies. The race you're not hearing about is already underway. China's Academy of Sciences quietly published 17 papers on quantum machine learning last year. American defense contractors are hiring quantum physicists at triple their previous salaries. And Canada? They're not advertising what they're doing at all. There's a reason for the silence. The first nation to deploy quantum AI at scale doesn't just gain an advantage. They gain the ability to render every other nation's AI infrastructure obsolete overnight. Imagine China's distributed network or America's centralized supercomputers suddenly unable to compete with systems that solve in seconds what takes them weeks. That's not competition, that's checkmate. This brings us back to the fundamental question: what does winning the AI race actually mean? For the past 3 years, we've measured progress in parameters, how many billions of connections an AI model has. But that metric might be completely irrelevant. A human brain has roughly 86 billion neurons. GPT-4 has about 1 trillion parameters. Yet a 5-year-old child can learn to ride a bike in an afternoon while AI still can't reliably identify whether an image has been flipped upside down. Size isn't intelligence. Architecture is. China understood this instinctively. Their distributed approach isn't about building the biggest AI, it's about building AI that integrates into systems humans already use. America's trying to build a digital god. China's building a digital nervous system. And quantum AI researchers are trying to build something that makes both approaches look primitive. The geopolitical implications are already visible if you know where to look. In March, the European Union quietly launched the Quantum Valley Initiative, investing 43 billion euros into quantum computing research. Not quantum computing for scientific research, quantum computing specifically for AI applications. Brussels isn't trying to compete with American or Chinese AI. They're attempting to leapfrog both. Meanwhile, in Southeast Asia, a different strategy is emerging. Countries like Singapore and Malaysia aren't trying to build their own AI superpowers. They're positioning themselves as neutral ground where Chinese, American, and European AI systems can interoperate. The Switzerland of artificial intelligence, if you will. This matters because AI isn't like nuclear weapons. You can't just stockpile it and hope deterrence works. AI systems need to interact, trade data, and coordinate across borders, or they become isolated intelligence, smart but powerless. The nation that controls the protocols for AI cooperation might matter more than the nation with the most powerful AI. Think about the internet. America invented it, but the country that controlled internet standards and protocols shaped how the entire world connected. Tim Berners-Lee was British. The World Wide Web Consortium is international. The infrastructure was American, but the rules were global. AI is following a similar pattern, except the stakes are exponentially higher. The internet allowed information to flow. AI allows decisions to flow. Whoever writes the rules for how AIs communicate, share data, and make joint decisions will effectively control the operating system of the 21st century economy. Here's what keeps intelligence analysts awake at night. None of the major powers are talking to each other about AI safety protocols. America and China can't agree on basic principles. Europe is crafting regulations both sides ignore. And the researchers building quantum AI are operating in what one MIT professor called a coordination vacuum. This isn't just dangerous, it's unprecedented. When nuclear weapons emerged, nations quickly established communication channels, treaties, and mutual understanding of the risks. With AI, we're sprinting toward capabilities that could reshape civilization while barely discussing how to prevent catastrophic outcomes. The AI race isn't really about who builds the smartest system first. It's about who builds the framework that all future AI systems operate within. China's betting on distributed integration. America's betting on centralized supremacy. Quantum researchers are betting on architectural revolution. And Europe's betting on regulatory control. One of these approaches will define the next 50 years of human civilization. The others will become historical footnotes, remembered as the paths not taken. Which one succeeds depends less on technology than on something far more unpredictable. Which approach aligns with how humans actually want to live? Because ultimately, AI isn't a tool we'll use. It's an environment we'll inhabit. The question isn't whether AI will be powerful. It already is. The question is whether that power will be concentrated in data centers we can't access, distributed through devices we can't control, or embedded in quantum systems we can't even fully understand. The nation that answers that question correctly won't just win a race. They'll write the rules for whatever comes after the world we know. The three superpowers racing toward AI dominance are all making the same miscalculation. They assume this is a race with a finish line, a competition where one nation crosses first and claims victory. But artificial intelligence isn't a destination. It's a transformation that's already rewriting the rules while we're still arguing about who's winning. The real question isn't which country builds the most powerful AI system. It's whether any of us are ready for the world that emerges when machines stop being tools and become the infrastructure of civilization itself.